Hello, all. How's that for an intro? As of this moment, the little guy in the corner didn't seem like it did me much good, so he's going to be left out for the time being. That said, I do have some concerns, so let's do our best to address them. Instead of a proper plan, we're just going to tackle these concerns as best as we can. So, concern number one, the problem of string. I need more of it. The 7 string that I got last video did manage to go some way. I did manage to make enough scaffolding with the materials I had left over that I should have enough scaffolding to finish the 3rd tower, but not the 4th. And I don't want to commit to building the 3rd until I can build the 4th, because otherwise it feels like, oh, that's the inside of my head, that I'm not making enough progress on these things. I have done the math, regrettably, but I did need to do it so I could grasp the scope of the problem, and I need 11 more string to make enough scaffolding to finish the last tower. Of course, I'll need a lot more string besides, especially if I'm going to be seriously using scaffolding later once I actually begin construction in earnest, but that unfortunately has to be left for later. Concern number 2. I'll get used to moving the camera in this perspective eventually. Getting more distance faster. I'm not doing enough digging. At best, last time, granted, I was distracted trying to do a couple more things than just digging, but that doesn't change the fact that I only got 1 block deeper overall. And even if I focus hard on a video, in only mining alone, I'll make like, what, 16 blocks, I want to say, deeper, if I really focus my all into it, which is definitely something, especially if I balance it out with other things to keep the videos interesting. But ultimately, I feel like I need to do more there. And luckily, I do have a plan for that, which is minor, granted, in the scheme of things, but should speed things up significantly in the time scales that we're thinking of. Concern number 3. I'll get used to that someday. More color or more sleek? This is kind of a concern in the overall aesthetics of the project, because I do think that color contrast is important. But as you can see from this room, most of that contrast is in absolutes. Black concrete, white concrete, pale doors, dark oak doors, glass and bricks. There's no real color here, so to speak, other than the red of the bricks. And of course, the absolutes of the concrete. Now, that isn't too much of a concern at the moment. We have little more than temporary structures, but I feel like we really need to get into a more in-depth design aesthetic or design theming, one of those words, or maybe some other word entirely, to really nail down how this thing is going to look. I could do a variety thing where every floor of the tower follows a different aesthetic. That's definitely something I could do. But overall, that does bear thinking about. It's not an urgent concern, but the longer I leave it be, the more severe the problem gets by the time I do run into it. Because if I decide to go colorful, then I'll need plenty of dyes stocked up if I want to make decent progress in the tower. If I want to go more sleek, then I'll need to stockpile a lot of the specific material subsets that I'll decide to use in order to get things really handled. I do want to go for a sort of office tower slash hotel kind of look, but I do acknowledge that those are kind of competing design philosophies, though not severely competing. There's still some difference between the two. I'll have to think of that more when we get there. And lastly, of course, the one that I'm most concerned with, how to properly plan videos. Because I'll be honest, fellas, this isn't working. Or at least not really working. Maybe I'm not that interesting. Maybe I need more luck. Maybe I'm just doing things wrong in general. My videos are doing better overall. I do acknowledge that, and I am happy with that, especially in comparison to last year. Most of my videos consistently get within 50 or so views within a couple of days or so, and I am grateful. By the way, do subscribe if you wind up enjoying this video, or just for the sake of it at this point. I'm desperate, I'm not gonna lie. But I do still need to plan things out better. Do I change the style of my videos? How do I change it? Do I go to a primarily script style of video? Do I lean things harder into spur of the moment decisions? Do I cut less things out, try to make a longer video, make different decisions on what I do end up cutting or what makes it into a final video? Heck, go full turkey and just post 24-hour long sessions. Definitely not that last session. That sounds like it sounds like about as bad as whatever the heck that kind of noise was, being honest. It's something to consider, but point is, what I'm trying to get at here is that trying to dip my toes in these things, either just to get some practice in it or to see how the waters treat me, just plain isn't working. Turning off the music. Don't need that nonsense when I'm trying to be serious. And I do need to consider writing my own music, or at least some simple tunes, but that's for later. Maybe you'll see some of that in this video. It was meant to be in the last video, but who knows at this point. So, I've decided to take the risk and simply commit. I will record gameplay as normal, but I do also intend to try scripting a bit, going half in on live voiceover and half in on a scripted voiceover, trying to make a pseudo story, or if nothing else, a progressive time lapse of the progress that I've made. How that turns out, I don't know. Heaven knows that I'm not planning things out well enough as it is. This intro can't be cut, and it's already almost 10 minutes. So, we're just going to do the best with what we've got. And by we, I mean me. It's always been just me. With maybe some suggestions from friends, and of course, the artwork by the lovely Dulciride, which you will be seeing later if all goes well. That said, enough moping, enough planning. It's time to get to action. Let's get things going. Hello, all. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, so am I. This is, full disclosure and obvious caveat, being recorded after the video has been fully recorded and is largely done with editing. There might be some additional touches here and there, but for all intents and purposes, this thing is basically ready to ship. I'm not sure why I built this concrete platform. I did it specifically for this segment here. I just felt like I needed to do something for it. This itself isn't in the video at large, but it's here now, so I guess it retroactively is. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a quick walk of what does happen in the video, and then I will show you something. So first off, I did manage to successfully add some of the bells and whistles that I haven't been able to before. Not as much as I could have, and probably not as much as I should have, but hey, I'm not made of time, and I ran out of money long ago, so we're just doing our best with what we've got. First up, managed to finish the remaining two towers. This beautiful one made of pale oak planks, and this equally beautiful one made out of dark oak planks, though much more obscured. I honestly kind of like it though. Haven't filled any of them yet though with the intended structures, but that will be coming in the next video. I have also, as you'll see here, dilly and dally. And Kurt, if all goes well, your art will be showing up later. Made some more progress down here. How much? Well, you'll just have to see for yourself later in the video. And let's just say there's something else I tackle while I'm down here. Something a little unexpected on my part, but hey, spur of the moment inspires creativity, no? Other than that, I did manage to squeeze in a tune, a simple one, but one that I think is rather serviceable. You'll be hearing that later. And also, if all goes well, during that special thing that I tackle later, well, we'll see. I don't want to commit to it yet in case it doesn't happen. Text on the screen will show if it does or not. But I am looking forward to it. That said, enough yapping right now. On to the video for you proper. Let's go. Weakest snap ever. The cactus is growing well if you're curious. Harvesting it is a bit of a pain though, because cactus is, I kind of forgot this, it's kind of an almighty destroyer of items. So if you break a cactus and it falls into the base block, it destroys itself. So to harvest it safely, you kind of need to put it at its base, break it at its base. And of course, another quirk I forgot about cactuses is that they can't be planted right next to each other. The best you can do is a checkerboard kind of pattern. Honestly, I won't need much of this. Green isn't exactly a favorite color, so I guess I'll go ahead and start stockpiling. If you'll recall, I did say that one of the conditions that had to be met in order for me to switch to iron pickaxes instead of copper was for me to get a full stack of iron blocks. Well, I've surpassed that thanks to my little exploration last video. So let's go ahead and get things started off properly. And also, to encourage myself to actually make some music, and more honestly, because I think the sudden starts and stops of the music track at random kinda hurts the video quite a bit, I'm just gonna leave the music off and see how that treats me. Hopefully I do wind up making something music-wise, because I do think losing it forever will be a bit of a drag, but I think it makes for a more cohesive experience. And if I fail, well, definitely call me out for it, because I certainly will. Dilly and Dally, come on. Maybe they like doing that, actually. I shouldn't judge them for it. Now, where was I? Oh, another thing that I'm considering when I'm going out, if I go out exploring, I'm going to cut off all the treasure bits, barring really exceptional finds like diamonds or the like, because while I kinda did that at first as a bit of an integrity thing to show everybody that everything that I found did come from somewhere in the world that I personally went to, and no cheats like with a console or something. I feel like that isn't really necessary, single player world and all, and that doing so, as in keeping those segments in, only reduced my choices in what I could have kept. I could have kept something more interesting, something more humorous, something that actually did something for the video, instead of just 4 seconds of silence as you glance into a random treasure chest. If there's any significant finds, of course, I will still show them, but for the most part, that's done with. Yeah, I'll be honest, at this point I don't really care if I fall. I'm rather low, and eh. If anything, it makes it more entertaining, won't it? Yep, somewhere around here, I bet, are where the monsters come from. Some cave somewhere, especially where the Endermen come from. Now, how in the heck did y'all get up there? A different wandering trader being threatened by a band of pillagers. How wonderful. Even more problematic, I don't see the wandering trader themselves, only their llamas. They might have already kicked the bucket. Oh, there's a flower on that cactus. Very nice. Well, unfortunate. Still, I believe in giving them the benefit of the doubt, so I'm gonna try despawning those guys and see if they spawn. Or see if they show up again, I should say. Turns out the other wandering trader decided to consult the safety of the other one that still has his llamas. Did you just eat a fish of mine? No. What the? Oh, they pushed him too far away, I guess. I already have jungle saplings, but I'll gladly take another couple of emeralds from you in exchange for some hay bales. Really am glad that wandering traders pause their despawn timers when you're away, compared to hostile mobs, which typically despawn right away when you're not nearby. Still, I wonder how his llamas got up there while he's down here. Either there's some weird spawning conditions, or one of his llamas pushed him off. And that hill was close enough that they didn't kick the bucket on impact. Suppose I'll never know. Anyway, let's go ahead and properly put everything away so that I can get back to it. Yep, that is definitely a cave of some sort. Well, the easiest thing to do will be to explore it and hope that it isn't too big at the very least. Okay, this end of the cave ends pretty quickly, so this shouldn't be a concern. This end of the cave, though, I thought it also didn't end too far, but unfortunately this is a hole, which means it goes further. And there goes the neighborhood. Well, this'll end in a quick death, but I gotta get my torch back. Shoot, that cave is just way too big in order to properly map it off and seal it off properly. Well, no, rephrasing that. It's way too big to map out and make safe. Sealing it off is always an option. Let's see. Some of that cave will be underneath this, I'm sure, but it does look like the part that's most concerning is quite a distance away. Yep, that's gonna be a problem later, but nothing I can do about it now. That's 2. Just 9 more to go. And that's 38 blocks down now, I believe. Oh, and just in time, we might get an ender pearl out of that guy. They did actually drop an ender pearl. Not that I need them, can't really use them effectively, but it's neat still. A chicken jockey, and now it's just a chicken. Very neat. Oh, the flower is its own thing. And apparently turns into pink dye. That's pretty neat. And with that last block of mossy cobblestone, all that remained of the dungeon under my home is gone. Eh? Music disc, hyper potions, lava chicken. Gee, I wonder what that's a reference to. Well, that was unpleasant. Lost my shield and most of my sword. But I do have the rest of the string I need to build the other 2 towers that I have to have. Another storage and another smelting one. Ironically, I think I pointed in the wrong directions for those, but not like it matters. I'll just go ahead and put the rest of the spoils away, that which counts, and then get on with it. I should build a jukebox, I guess. Man, that was such a good song. Shame there is literally a 0% chance I could play it and not get in trouble for it. But I do highly recommend it still. Alright, that's it. We have the scaffolding, we have the glass, we have the planks that we need. Though I do need more bricks now that we've solved the string problem. So I'll go ahead and make a shovel and get started on that. Alright, now while we're waiting for the bricks to smelt, now that everything else has been prepared, let's go ahead and get back to mining. Pillager raiding party. But they don't seem to be heading this way, and if they are, I should be done before they do. And that's tower number 3 complete. We should be safe from the raiding party, but they were heading out in that direction, so I think I should wait for them to despawn before I start work on the next tower. Not that I can finish it anyway, need more bricks. Not many bricks, but I'm still gonna go ahead and grab a stack more. Call it future proofing. I don't really see myself using pink dye, but considering that I don't really know any other way to make it other than combining red and white, it seems handy to have on hand. Aw, that's a baby squid. Adorable. Alright, we have more than enough clay to turn into bricks to make the last tower. But of course, while I'm waiting to do that, we're gonna do some more mining. And then after I finish up that last tower, we're gonna do some fishing. Because I am running low, because I am impatient, and to make those towers faster, I constantly fall off. Oh, I actually should have used those picks before I built the tower. Oh well. We've already long established that I ain't perfect. What? What is that? Is this basalt? So not only did I decide to put my tower over... Hello, Enderman. I'll deal with you later. So not only did I decide to put my tower over a ravine, over a dungeon, but there's also a geode down here too. What are the odds? I mean, granted, I'm covering quite a bit of area, 64 blocks of a square of roughly 64 blocks, but still. Alright, let's deal with you. Well, since I know geodes are pretty much safe, after all the amethyst in them glows in the dark slightly, I'm fine with just leaving that there for now and slowly digging it up as we get down there. That said, if any of the geode ends up going past beyond this wall, I think I am going to mine it all up. That means every bit of calcite, every bit of basalt, and of course, any of the actual amethyst that winds up out there as well. And if it's all in here, then it's all getting dug up anyway. I wonder if the special amethyst block, budding amethyst blocks, I think they're called. I wonder if you can actually pick those up normally. I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out. I really wish there was like a polished block of lapis lazuli. Because it really is a shame that for such a pretty block, I can't make it more regular. I am hearing mobs. I do actually remember that most geodes are at least partially open. So I do think this might be the very edge of it on this side, but I am afraid that the other side might be open to some kind of cave. Where am I? Clearly somewhere I've been before, judging by the torches, but where? Wait a second. Is this one of the offshoots in the ravine? Yes, it is. Of all things, I didn't think I would find myself falling down a different offshoot in the same ravine. Gosh dang, what a small world. Luckily, the ravine is mostly safe enough to just walk in and out of now. So, though, how severe is this hole? It's not too far down. I might be able to risk just staircasing my way in and out. Except it's an edge, so I can't do that. I'll have to block it off. Which, on the plus side, does mean blocking off that part of the cave, which I wasn't really keen on exploring anyway. So, despite how this feels, this might actually be a victory. I'll just build myself up. Honest, no, yeah, that works. We'll just build up there with planks and we'll call it a day. Of course, I'll probably fall in here a lot more often as I go off in that direction. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. After all, at the end of the day, it just means more dirt or other random stones to bridge the path until we reach the bottom anyway. And that's 39 blocks down, and another Enderman to take care of. Now, I will be the first to admit that this pyramid excavation. What would it be? Process? Method. That's the word. This pyramid excavation method isn't exactly the safest or even the most practical, but in my own opinion at least, it certainly is most interesting, and you can't deny the spectacle. Alright, I do have all the materials ready to build the last tower, but I do have two pickaxes left, and frankly, that's my own fault because I did mess up the order a bit last time when I was building the tower before this one. So I'm gonna finish these off first before I go to build the tower. If for no other reason than so I can just go straight to fishing later. Alright, last one. Going up. And we are finished. I have to say, it was a surprisingly complex side project, but relatively simple in execution, while this ring was relatively simple in concept, but relatively difficult in execution until I decided to scale it back to what we have now. I still call it a ring in my head, despite the fact that no part of this is remotely circular. That said, in celebration, let me just go ahead and make my way back inside, and then you'll see how I celebrated. Though I'm sure most of you can guess. Kurt, show 'em what you've got. Another piece of art by the lovely Dulceride. Once again, their link will be in the description. But while this is on screen, I do feel the need to remind you that I have no idea what the art on screen will remotely look like, or even if it'll show up at all. They have been really good with it lately, but of course, nothing is guaranteed, and I have given them the full understanding that this is a favor to me and that they can, so to speak, dictate their terms and get no argument from me. So, I hope it's good. I know it'll be good. But how it actually looks like, I won't know until the moment of. That said, let's go ahead and put away the remaining materials, pick up my fishing rod, and do what that name implies. Just in time too, being honest. I was running desperately low on food. Well, let's begin. Oh, and as I said earlier, I'm gonna skip all of the treasure bits. I'll just show it all at the end, and that'll be that. Fishing never fails to calm me down. It's just a very nice way to pass the time. Shame it's hard to swing in real life, but you know. Well, I hope you know, because I don't know where I was going with that. Something idealized reality. Alright, we got a stack of raw cod, so let's look at these spoils. Of course, there's the stack of raw cod. Protection 3, quick charge 2. Blast protection 4, efficiency 4. Channeling, interesting. Power 4, lure 2. Sharpness 3. 3 bones. A curse of vanishing fishing rod. One of the most uniquely terrible gears that I've ever seen. An unbreaking 3 mending fishing rod. 2 of them, actually. Miscellaneous junk that I've already put in the chest. 3 bones, pufferfish, and tropical fish. Let's get to cooking. Well, checking in again from down here. I'm glad to say that, at least for the short term, we do have the string problem covered. Of course, it's hard to truly solve this problem, especially if I don't do what most people do and try to figure out some kind of farm, but you know, whatever. We'll just handle that problem as we approach it. Concern number 2, however, getting down faster. That's tricky. The iron tools certainly help. They do certainly help. And heck, if I go on to diamond and then netherite, that'll help even more. But I'm thinking that I should really just go all in, use some of those diamonds that I've collected with exploring, and make an efficiency pickaxe. Normally, I don't really bother with enchantments, but the fact of the matter is, we are going rather slow, and I would like to finish this project before the end of the year. Concerns number 3 and 4. More dye should be possible. I think there's a flower field not too far from me, which should have most of the flowers, and I do have a source of green dye now with the cactuses. Yes, that's what those are for. And the occasional cactus flower makes pink dye, which gives me more options, but it's still just gathering scraps instead of making or finding any significant amounts that I could use to produce more. Ultimately, I do think that I should lean towards more sleek with hints of color, but I'll still have to think about that more. As for this last concern, that will have to be saved for editing. We'll see how this goes. Alright, enough of this. Get back to it. I should probably chop down this tree since it has a corner bitten out of it from that creeper explosion. But honestly, it kind of amuses me, and I don't need any more dark oak wood for the moment. Really, I just gotta gaze upon these towers more because they really are beautiful. I should harvest those in a bit. Not much from the inside yet, but that'll change given time. Truthfully speaking, I could probably fill those out right now, but I'm thinking I should have a different idea. What the? Now, how on earth did this happen? Enderman, probably, but how did they place blocks down here? There's hardly any space for them. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I know what I want to build next. I should really go all in. Why are there torches there? Yeah, I probably put them myself when I was doing something there. Anyway, I'm not going to build it yet because I've already done the construction for this video. But next video, I'm going to go all in on the covered walkway. That means replacing the rest of this with cobblestone and doing something funky around here. I'm thinking 2x2, so something like these pseudo caves here. I really like the look of these tunnels and I want to lean more into that. So I'm definitely thinking of something like that. And as nice and as varied, I should say, as it would be to have bits that stick in and out of the terrain, I really do think I should go for a more uniform thing. But if I include glass as part of that design, I still get to keep some of that through the terrain, regardless of what's in the way aesthetic, which I do think I would really like. For the flooring, I do think I'll stick with cobblestone, at least for the short to mid-term. I might replace it with some other material down the line, but maybe some smooth stone, or maybe gray concrete. That's something to consider for later. Then, I don't know, I don't think I should make bricks part of the tunnels themselves, because with only a 2x2 space, if I make it as part of the corners, I wouldn't be able to see them from the outside, at least not in parts that are underground. I will see it in parts that were exposed. But brick tunnels, to me that sort of gives off the vibe of a sewer system. Not exactly the most aesthetically pleasing. I'm thinking that I should do either stone or smooth stone primarily, with some kind of block light source, not just torches. Redstone lamps, perhaps? But I'd have to get glowstone from the nether. There really aren't a lot of options for that kind of thing. Block light sources are kind of hard to find. I mean, there's sea lanterns, which gives off a great modern aesthetic. But, you know, you'd have to brave ocean monuments to get any significant amounts of that. I might have to go with lamps. Lamps take iron, which do suck, but not a whole lot of it, and they do look better than torches. Hang them from the ceiling? Yeah, that could work. But I shouldn't really be considering it too hard. That's for in the future. Let's get on with things now. Make some more pickaxes and then get on our way. Alright, back to it. There isn't anything else that's really calling my attention down here other than to take care of threats like this and get as low down as possible, as fast as possible. So let's just get to it. Well, before I seal my way back up there, let's at least give this an attempt. Hello again, all. This is a voiceover. Been a while since I did one of these on purpose. So we're just gonna go ahead and narrate over this little cave adventure of mine. Maybe not over the whole thing, but definitely here and there sporadically, just to keep things moving along. At first, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, but I remembered after hearing some bad news from a friend of mine that there has been some things that I needed to get off my chest lately. So, let me tell you all a little story. Really, I should be saving this for some kind of milestone video down the line, but those are rather slow going, so hey, I'm just treating this as a reward for those of you who make it this far in the video in the first place. Oh, and of course, let's not forget the music. I hope you find it as tolerable as I do, because it's going to be playing through most of this adventure. So I started this YouTube channel in very, very, very late, like last minute 2024, with the intention to start uploading in the year 2025, and I did start doing just that, just to keep the best eye on things and to simplify things in my own head. I wouldn't need to keep track of the eventual years that I fully intended to put in the channel from the start with the actual year that I was living in, because they will be the exact same thing. I know that seems rather convoluted for such a simple thing, but that's where my head was at the time, and truthfully, it's one of the few things that I'm thankful to my past self for now. Now, at first, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the channel. I had the vaguest idea in mind, just to play whatever I wanted, or whatever the audience recommended, or my friends did, since obviously I wouldn't start with an audience, and just take things from there. But while I did have some fun, it wasn't truly what I wanted. To this day, I still don't know what I truly wanted, other than to have fun with it. And admittedly, this channel was originally meant more to fill time than anything. Fill my own time, that is. And at first, that was fine. I didn't ever expect to make money off of this channel, especially not anytime soon, though I did hope that it will eventually happen. But, you know, it did its job well enough. It filled the time, and I was polishing some skills of mine, helping myself get a little better at speaking, getting used to video editing, some audio stuff. I'm now starting to make my own music, tolerable as it is. As in, I can only call it tolerable. But, you know, that's still more than I had before. But then, two things happened. One good, though it kind of comes off as haunting now, if I'm being truthful. And one bad, though the bad isn't any one event, but more a culmination of things, happened. The first thing that happened, the good thing, was on February 4th, 2025, I published my celebrating 10 subscribers video. I didn't even intend to make it, like it completely slipped my mind. I'm sure I intended to celebrate it at some point, but for some reason, 10 subscribers, even though that was a personal milestone of mine, just didn't occur to me until a friend of mine decided to bring it up. And I said, sure, I'll go ahead and make a quick one, spend maybe a couple hours on it. And I did, I shipped it, and now it's up on the channel. It is currently my most popular video at 1,565 views, 53 comments, and 155 likes. And that's a perfect 100% ratio. Not a single one of my videos has ever come that close. None have ever even broken 1,000 since that one anomaly. But of course, I didn't know that at the time, and I thought this was the beginning. If I could give more of what I had now, I could actually start to invest in my own channel. Put some money into some better equipment, namely this microphone of mine, instead of this laptop mic, which is serviceable but not great, or my headphone mic, which is a bit better but still not great. And I'll go into how that's turning out in a bit, though most of you who've been around me can probably imagine it. But as for the bad news, well, it's kind of a culmination of how life/society has been going now. The reason why I had so much time to fill was because I was laid off from my job quite a while ago, before this channel began, naturally. I've been trying to find work ever since, but just haven't managed to get any, both from a combination of societal factors and, frankly, luck. But what can you do? Well, what I'm doing is this channel. And needless to say, that hasn't been going the best, but I have had more luck this year than I did last year. Last year, again, I didn't really have any idea what I was doing, but was just doing anything that interested me and anything that was either from a very rare viewer suggestion, which technically there's still a couple that I haven't done, but I'm not sure I'll ever find the right moment to finish those. And mostly suggestions from friends, but that's a whole different story. And sometimes I got a decent number of views. Usually I would average somewhere between 20 to 30 views a video. Many got less than that. Some managed to dip over 40, 50, 70. A couple even made it over 100, but the success never lasted. That those 100 views didn't eventually turn into 1,000 views. They didn't really improve the chances of other videos. There's a couple of my videos still on my channel that have less than 10 views overall. So that doesn't feel great. It was stressful, of course, still is, though to a lesser extent now, I'm happy to say. Though there are still some moments where it gets to me especially badly. But at the time, I was willing to work through it. I was willing to keep at it until I found something that clicks, or enough people started to stick around, or something happened, or my luck improved, or really any one of a number of things. Heck, maybe I'd even just luck out finally and get a job. But then that wretched day happened. August 5th, 2025. I can't go into fine detail about what happened, but let's just say something unpleasant invaded my home. It wasn't anything too terrible, but trying to resume normal work on my channel, that is, while this unpleasant circumstance was occurring, at first seemed like anathema. But, of course, I didn't think it would be that long. I thought that it would be over in a weekend, or maybe a week, 2 at the most, then 3, then 4, then more, and then even more. Until 40 days later, on September 14th, 2025, though I started the video that came out on that day a bit earlier, I decided enough was enough, because if I allowed this unpleasant circumstance to deter me any longer, not only would I be failing on my own free time, basically, but the only other thing that would occupy my time would have been sending out even more job applications. And frankly, the thought of that filling up even more hours of my day was genuinely sickening. I struggle enough just to get ghosted enough. I didn't need any more of that. I already deal with it enough on the daily. So, against my better judgment, with the advice of friends and even some family, I decided to persevere, work my way around it. And there were some close calls, but I did come back. And on September 14th, 2025, I published that video to raucous applause. Comparatively speaking, of course. That video was a Minecraft video that earned me 462 views, 2 comments, and 11 likes. Not a full positive, but close enough. That was the start of a decision, though I wouldn't fully commit to it until the year was over. In the meantime, I just decided to try to get back to normal as fast as possible. I caught up on some things that I was meaning to do before the hiatus, went a bit deeper into Project Moon and some other games that interested me. But on September 27th, 2025, I decided to go a bit harder into what I believed might do some good: trends. See, on that day, or within a week of that day, a game released called Clover Pit. A lot of you have probably heard of it, though not all of you have. I decided, let's give it a shot. I've tried to follow trends before, but the last time I did, it took either weeks to get it out, or I did it way after the trend was actually over. For example, with my, what was it called? Mindwave, back when the demo for that released, it was out for months already by the time I actually did a video on it, and Well, it did do decently compared to the rest of the channel. It didn't exactly excel. And then I tried to do it again with Ina, and that did about average for the channel. But again, that was quite some time after the game released. I decided to just go all in. I grabbed the game, I made a video on it, played it enough that I felt like I had the content for it, and shipped it out same day. And it did completely average, maybe a bit higher. It currently has 36 views, and the sequel, quote unquote, that I did got 49 views, and then the one after that, because I did one more, got 98 views, which was amazing. But it also showed that me trying to take advantage of trends was just never going to work out. Maybe trends only works when you already have an audience, or maybe trends don't work at all, but either way, I learned my lesson. Ultimately, I decided to re examine both what I was doing and what I should be doing. I decided to look up some advice because heaven knows there's plenty of videos on YouTube that basically go into detail about what kinds of videos to make on YouTube. And I'll be honest, a lot of them might have some sound advice, but a lot of them are for different kinds of channels entirely. Not that I blame them, of course, it's what worked for them, of course, even if that's not the direction I want to go to. But at some point, a lot of these channels basically make their living off of the smaller YouTube channels that desperately watch them to try to follow in their footsteps and make the kind of money and following that they are making. But I digress. I'm not throwing any shade. If that's how you make your money and that works for you, and you do actually help some people, even if it's only in a small way, then power to you. But the one thing that I did take from those advice videos is the concept of a niche. And when I re examined a lot of the YouTube channels that I personally watched and admired, I did realize there was something there. One that I haven't fully found how to take advantage of, at least not in a variety sense as others do. But I do think that put me on the right path. So, in the 3 months or so I had until the end of the year, because of course, I thought that I hate to use this word seriously, but a paradigm change of this magnitude would have been suited to reflect the new year, much like I did when I first started this channel on the first of the year 2025. Though I didn't start the new shift on January the 1st, I did start work on it because I needed a hiatus to get things ready and figure out how I was going to do things from then on. That video came out on January 14th, 2026. Now, I thought long and hard about what I could have gone with in the meantime. Horror is always popular, but my heart ain't one that handles it very well. Oh, I'm sure it'd make great content, especially if I did something like FNAF. FNAF YouTubers are a special breed on their own. No shade to them, they make it work. But I could never follow in their footsteps. Mostly because I can't without serious risk of harm, and also a bunch of the games that are actually decently popular are also very difficult. Difficult plus a weak heart doesn't seem like it equals anything good in terms of long-term health. Then there are also RTS games, but to be truthful, while I do like looking at them, I play very few of them and like very few of them, so that's tricky. I did also consider going into mobile games. They don't tend to have the biggest audiences, but some of them do well enough in their niche, but I would have to record that on a computer, and that would mean that I would have to emulate it, and when you combine that with a variety of other factors, including the fact that a lot of mobile games are plagued with ads nowadays, it wouldn't have been impossible, but it would have been more of a hassle than I was willing to deal with, especially long term. You all know where this is going, and this is the answer that I eventually came up with. But I looked over my channel, and I looked over two things. One, the first video that I made that I felt like really started to excel past, of course, that 10 subscriber video. And, other than the 20 subscriber video, the first video that broke 100 views after that one was Minecraft. And while not every Minecraft video that I did here and there broke that number, the fact that the video that I came back with broke it by so much, as I said before, I believe 462 views. Well, it was kind of inevitable that I would inevitably make this turn, though of course it comes with its own challenges. Minecraft on YouTube is a very saturated market, and it's difficult to be noticed, though I have had more luck than some. I won't say it's oversaturated, because there is still the occasional Minecraft YouTuber that manages to fight their way out of obscurity, either through pure luck, which is always a factor, no matter how skilled you get, or through their own consistent efforts, plus a little luck. Now, of course, I do also have to consider the fact that I myself am not doing a very interesting project. Watching a guy build a tower can only be fun for so long. But I do have some ideas of how I could tackle that. For example, I could and have been considering immersing myself more into the world, making it a story, so to speak. Admittedly, it does feel a bit cringe, but hey, I think I'd enjoy it, and if I don't take at least some risk, I'm never gonna get anywhere. Not without luck that I clearly don't have. So, that might be something I mess with more in the following videos I make after this one. Otherwise, I have to remind you, mostly because a lot of you weren't here the first time I mentioned this, but this is my third try at making this tower, and it's a reason why I'm stuck on it so insistently. Because the first try of the tower, I started at sea level and got all the way up to build limit, but when I started going down, the server that I was building it on got a soft reset and things got wiped. Then, when I did it on the reboot of that server, I started from the bottom going up, but it was way more tedious and time consuming, and I did have a job at the time, so it was harder to find time for it, and eventually I gave up. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. So, this third time has to work, even if it's not perfect, because I refuse to give up on it a third time. And after this, well, I have some mod packs in mind, and there are more coming out of the channel. I do worry somewhat that my system won't be able to properly support it and record it, but that's a bridge I'll have to come across in the future, inevitably. So, enough of me talking. My time is at an end. My time is at an end, and let's get back to the video. There's still a bit left. I failed to dodge, needless to say, and that skeleton seemed to know when to shoot when I had my shield down to try and take care of this zombie in front of me. Well, whatever. It was a valiant effort. I lit up as much of the caves as I could, but let's just call ourselves done with that. For now, I know I'll have to deal with it more later. You know, I forgot how low I am. I should get a stack of dirt to check. Alright, now before we continue mining, this spot looks good. Let's see how far down we are. Okay, let's see. 64 minus 26. We are now 40 blocks down. And gosh dang, that side doesn't get any less pretty. It looks even better now with those extra torches making up the edges. Oh, and look at that little lava flow. It's not gonna stick around forever, but it's still gonna be around for a while yet. 40 blocks down. I don't know. I feel like Deep Slate isn't that far away, but that was on a more or less straight down journey. Optimistically, another 40 blocks down. Well, I ain't getting any closer by talking about it. Let's get back to doing it. Hmm? Oh shoot, yeah, I forgot about this cave. Hmm. Well, at some point, I'm going to dig low enough over there that I can definitively tell where exactly I should seal it off. But for now, I guess I should just ignore it, I suppose. I should have lit up the immediate area at least enough that I shouldn't really worry about any more mobs spawning. And I believe I have, because I don't think I've seen as many Endermen as I normally would. So, you know, that's a victory. Still, I don't know. I mean, this cave here certainly would qualify as an obstacle, but I wouldn't go as far as to call it a boss fight. Maybe a mini boss of some sort? Then again, there is the fact that this is part of a larger cave system. But also, I think the vast majority of the cave system is beyond these walls, so I don't know. I guess we'll label it when we have more information about it. And that is officially 41 blocks down. Once again, from the top. Huh. Okay, I will admit I went to AFK for a bit, but I didn't expect to see that many phantoms just hovering over the ceiling. It's honestly kind of mesmerizing. Way lower than before, I'll tell you that much. See, I remember these gravel pillars. I put them down when skeletons were starting to bother me for the first time, and that's when I first discovered that dungeon. And now we're making a good way towards demolishing them. And while we're still a decent way from the ground yet, we're not as far as we were before. Nothing to do but to keep at it. Not inside it just yet, but I've revealed the treasure within. That melody, naturally. Oh, that was a long way down. The issue is, I know the line that I have to put up to seal it off in that way, but that way goes quite a ways. And I don't know where to seal it off in that direction. For now, let's end this seal here on this direction and there in that direction. I'll have to extend it later, but to extend it fully, I'll have to know the extent to which I need to extend it. And that's 42 blocks down. Man, I severely overestimated just how far and how fast downwards I could go. But I have to say, 42 is still a magic number. There's a lot I could say, but I don't really have any words to articulate it. VO here. This silence goes on for like 12 seconds. I'm not really sure what was going on in my mind at the time. Maybe I was just a bit sad. Not right now, anyway. Dilly, dally, Don, Bon, Bert, Kurt. Hopefully, whatever I end up doing on top of all this works out. That said, to all the things I didn't say, to all the things I couldn't say. See you next time, fellas. Take care.